scabby sea dogs. I'm Luke Stratton, creator of Pieratt Borg, and I'm very, very excited to announce our first itch.io community content jam, Cabin Fever, brought to you by our new sublabel, Known Conspirators. This jam invites content creators like you to create content for the worst pirate setting ever made, the Dark Caribbean. You can submit your content in one of 5 categories: adventures and modules, PC class, NPCs, monsters, and ships, generators or random tables, or miscellaneous for everything else under the sea. Submissions are open for the entire month of May, and all submitters will receive an exclusive Known Conspirators antique pin and a Cabin Fever die-cut sticker. Then, a council of 7 fearsome pirate lords will debate for hours and choose the finest submissions. A total of 16 selected entries will be compiled into a print-on-demand hardcover book. In addition, those 16 winners will each receive a cash prize, plus a printed copy of the book. Everyone else, including the public, will be able to buy the book for cost at lulu.com or get the PDF for free from our website. But wait, there's more. One grand prize winner will take home $1,000 in cold, hard cash. So clean out your gills and ready your quills, and leave her, Johnny, leave her. We can't wait to find the treasures from your mind when you get cabin fever.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Symphony Lounge. Before we start getting into the sexiness, I'm going to wait until chat tells me that I can actually be seen and heard, because it's the Symphony. Shit breaks daily. Bucho says, we sound and look great. We are off to the races, guys. Let's... I love this for us too. We're actually live and successful. Hey, speaking of us, you who made the joke yesterday that Limithron and Symphony are like in this weird abyssal marriage, which is so accurate. The amount of Symphony fans that just absolutely love you, your brother, your platform, your brand, your game, your imagination, and your entire life. We're all in love with you. For people who don't know who you are, Luke, please introduce yourself. Who the hell is Luke Stratton? Up, Luke, hold on really fast. They're saying you can't be heard. Now they're saying you can't be heard. Wait for it. Can y'all hear him now? It says nope. It's weird because he's registering sound on my side.
Weird, yeah, you can hear me fine.
I can hear you fine. Let's try it again. Hey, can y'all hear Luke?
Hello. Hi. Oh, okay, great. Nailed it. All right,
now,
let's just try this again.
Let's try it again with the same amount of energy. Let's go.
My name is Luke Stratton, but I'm also known as my alias, Limithron the Pirate Wizard. I am the creator of Pieratt Borg. I'm working on the Dark Caribbean setting book, and I guess I'm the head or one of the 7 judges, one of the 7 brethren pirate council lords on the Cabin Fever content jam on itch.io. Also a longtime Symphony entertainment supporter.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, listen, longtime supporter, and the feeling is actually mutual. Like, I'm going to talk about Luke like he's not in the room later on, so I'll embarrass him. I'll wait until he feels safe.
Leave if you want. I'll just hear.
Oh, no, baby. You're stuck. Listen, no. Nate and I will find you. So yeah, I'll talk about Luke like he's not in the room later when I tell you how good Luke has been to me as a creator, as a professional, and also to my backers. But we'll get into embarrassing Luke about how much I love him later. Let's go over what you guys can expect from the lounge. So we're going to sit down. We're going to get to know Luke. We are going to talk about Pieratt Borg. We're going to talk about this epic opportunity that he's rolling out through Cabin Fever, which I have a bunch of questions on, especially because I do community content promotion for another company. I'm just delighted that this is happening for Pieratt Borg, and I have so many surgical questions for you, Luke. It is going to be great. Then we're going to lead into the Symphony backer questions, because I released you to our backers, and the backers were like, we have lots of questions.
I like questions. So.
Questions are good. They're amazing. And then we're going to do a giveaway at the end of the show, guys. So we are going to be giving away a free hardcover copy of Pieratt Borg. So if you would like to enter into that giveaway, I'm only shipping to the continental U.S., y'all. Send thoughts and prayers. Shipping is
It's brutal.
It's so brutal. It's a whole vibe right now. I can't spend $60 to send you a copy overseas. I love you, but listen, the struggle is super real. To enter into this giveaway, you have to enter exclamation point ARG, which is ARGGG. It's three G's. If you type four, it ain't gonna work. If you type two, it's not gonna work. But I'm gonna laugh every single time you mistype it. So we'll do the drawing at the end of the show, and then we will call this bad boy a wrap. So, Luke, you ready to get into it?
Let's do it.
Baby, okay, you have a whole new initiative happening for the entire month of May. Talk us through Cabin Fever. What the hell is it? What can we expect? Who came up with this idea? Why are you using this platform? Those are your first questions. I got another 20 ready for you.
Well, a little bit of backstory. When Morkborg first came out, they had these jams and they had this platform called Morkborg Cult where people could submit content and Johan would illustrate it and lay it out. And then they kickstarted two different zines that was full of this content. And
Okay.
like, I kind of feel that like Morkborg, the full game is really the core book in those two zines.
Okay.
It's really like some of the key things and some great adventures. Like they aren't in the core book. They're like community content, you know? And also they had these jams like Rugos Khan did this folklore jam on itch.io, which it's just a really cool platform where people can like make whatever they want and submit it to the jam. But a lot of those other jams, they're kind of like, they're fully community run.
Okay.
And Linothron is like, we're very, very community forward. We really have always loved being parts of communities.
Yep.
Tyler and I have played a lot of games over the years. And we hate when communities don't support their games or companies don't support their communities. So we're trying to be the polar opposite. So we thought instead, like, what better way to kickstart this third-party Pirate Board community than like basically sponsoring it? So it started with like, oh, hey, we're gonna like throw some prize money at this, and then it was like, well, wait, what if we throw like a lot of prize money at it? And then it was like, wait, well, they're gonna do all the work, and unlike the Ferratory and Heretic, the Morkborg ones, I'm not gonna illustrate and lay these out. It's designed to be totally like from the ground up, third-party creators. But I thought, well, hey, like this could be really, really cool. Why don't we just compile them all into a PDF and send that off to Lulu and do a print-on-demand book? So that everybody can get a copy, like, so you can have this thing at the table. The people who worked on it can have an artifact of their efforts. And then the community can like all throw down on a project, and not one that we're going to profit off of. I mean, as it sits right now, it's only going to print on demand at zero cost.
Holy hell,
There's
Luke.
been some there's been some internal discussion of like, if it does really well and we're really proud, maybe we'll like talk to everybody involved and see if we can do a actual offset print run, but we don't know if that will happen. And if we do, we'd have to figure out like how to make margins to recover the costs for that. But the idea is really just to like lift other creators up, like I was lifted up by the Morkborg community, and really to give GMs more content for their Pirate Board games, especially since I'm kind of taking a long time on this next big book, and I want to keep the community thriving while we're waiting on it, you know?
Yeah. Oh God. Okay. So community content creators can go and they can write for Morkborg, or not Morkborg, for Pirate Board. What type of content are you what type of content are you looking for in Cabin Fever? Walk us through the things that you're accepting.
Well, I want to preface that you could make anything for this jam.
Good to know.
You could make anything for Pirate Borg, but if you want it to be printed in the book, it probably needs to fall into the like printed A5 size content category. I know I have at least one. My friend Matt is working on like an animation that he's been working on for a couple of months.
Holy
and
hell.
We found out about the jam. Like he shows me stuff every month at our meetup group, and it's going to be really, really cool. But like, even if he wins, I don't know how we'll get him into the book. Other than maybe a QR code or like a page about him making it, you know?
Right.
But that being said, like I personally don't think that the book is it's not the reason, it's like the product, or you know, it's the output of it. Really, the reason is the content.
Yeah.
So if you want to write an album of, you know, dungeon synth that's pirate inspired, like do it. Like whatever you think is going to benefit the community the most is what you should do. Oh, okay, so then you asked me about the category. Sorry, I got
Oh no,
distracted.
it's just that's mind blowing. They're just like, nah, just give it to us. Celebrate yourself,
Yeah.
celebrate
I
the
mean, like
content,
I
let's
said,
have fun.
I'm not making any promises about what's going in the book, and we have pretty clear guidelines of what we're looking for as
Mm-hmm.
far as page requirements for each category. So the five categories are adventure, PC class, monster NPC or ship,
Yep.
um, GM, jet tools, generators, random tables, and then miscellaneous. And then those are the five categories. Each of those is going to have three winners.
Okay.
Then there are three like overall prizes: best art, best writing, and then best graphic design and layout. And then there's a grand prize winner. Now, the catch with the grand prize winner is we wanted the grand prize to be really big.
Yeah.
So if you win the grand prize, you're not included in all the other categories. So you can't sweep this. Like you can't win grand prize and all to other three. So actually, if you got second place, you could win four prizes, which would be less money than grand prize. But you get what I'm saying? Like
Right. Yeah.
everyone should understand whoever wins the grand prize is like they're the admiral of the fleet. Okay. So yeah, but yeah, each one of those categories, really you can make whatever you want, but we wanted to make categories to encourage people to, come up with stuff.
Yeah.
So like I think the biggest thing for any role-playing game is adventures.
Yeah.
And like you can make all the classes you want, but they're going to be like not play tested in with the original six, maybe. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you should make them, but Pirate Borg you can play without a class, but you can't play it without an adventure. So that's my
Right.
my core thought. We really want people to try to make adventures and locations. So
So this is just Bridgett with some curiosity here. When you're talking adventures locations, do you have a recommended word count that you're looking at for adventures? Because I know the adventures I've read for Pirate Board, they're beautiful because they're so succinct.
yeah, actually, we don't do anything by word count. There's only one official. I only hired one writer to work with us so far, and that was JVC Perry.
Okay.
I think he's working on something for the Jam. And when usually in the industry, for those who aren't in the industry, when you're writing something, it's per word.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, we were talking when we were negotiating on like what I would pay him. I was going to pay a really high per word count. I was like, you know what? This is like a Morkborg project. Like, screw that. Let's just do like a flat rate or per hour because it's actually harder to write less words, especially in this
It
really
is.
well formatted way.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that a writer should be financially punished because they were succinct like that. You want it to be succinct. So you'd be better off, submitting a one-page adventure that's very, very succinct with bullet points. And we call it this like kind of control panel layout where
Mm.
the GM can look. I mean, this is really big in the OSR and the like NSR, where instead of a read aloud paragraph, it's a small paragraph, and all the words that are bolded have bullet points below. So if you're like, you walk into the cabin and you see the captain's desk, and you see a cage in the corner, and you see a rug on the ground, you'll see captain's desk. Inside is blah 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 blah. Cage,
Uh-huh.
a dead bird is inside. If they move the rug, like that kind of really strong information layout. That's what we prefer.
Mm-hmm.
Now there are seven judges. Like I can't dictator this thing. So if you write beautiful prose and everyone thinks it should win, it's going to win. But really, I think the key is writing stuff for GMs. You should be writing for GMs, not for us. And you should be
Right.
writing for yourself. Yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah. And that's for new creators who may be trying to jump out of here. I'm just going to kind of give you that advice. When you are writing up a scenario or you're trying to do an adventure, remember you're not writing it for the players. You're writing it for the person that's picking it up, reading it, and trying to re-deliver your story. So you're gearing it towards the GM.
It's interesting that you say that because I actually usually say the opposite. I'm writing for the players, but
Really?
through the guys of the GM.
Of the GM.
Because you really are trying to get that experience to the GM,
Yeah.
or to the players.
To the
But
players,
you're
ultimately.
right. You're not writing, but I mean it in an OSR way. I mean it in like you want to get the information. Like you want to remove as many boundaries from getting the information from my head to the GM's head.
Correct.
You don't want to make long prose for the GM to read to your players. You want to give the GM the tools to be like, I know what's in this room. I've told them, and I know how to interact with the big things, and I can make up the rest. When you do a
Yeah.
read aloud text, like in 5e and stuff, it'll be this big long thing, and then they'll immediately say something that wasn't covered by the text, and
He's
then
like,
the GM is
wait.
they have to switch their tone to like, oh, I'm not the Matt Mercer read aloud vibe. I'm like me now. Well, if you just started with you'd be comfortable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
through all the way out
that's what
there.
we encourage, and I think that's part of this whole scene. But I think because Pirate Borg is I'd say the most popular pirate role playing game out right now.
I think
It's
you're
gonna
safe
bring
to
in
say
people
that.
who, yeah, it's going to bring in people who aren't familiar with the OSR.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a really good thing because it'll show them a way to make content that they weren't, used to previously.
That they weren't used to previously. No, that is fantastic. Okay. This is another just random question as I'm kind of off script here with
Yeah, bring them on.
like let's like bring them out. With the rollout that you just articulated, where it's like super succinct and it's straightforward with the bold and it ties to a clue. If a new creator wanted to get their hands on an example of that, where would you direct them?
Oh man, there's so many really good options. I think this one of the strongest ones. I actually have it. It's under a thing, but let me pull it out real quick.
Oh, just like it's under a thing. Hold on. Standing by. Arg.
I mean, I think obviously the Pirate Borg core book is going to get you in the right direction. One of the things I did is that all the different like one-page dungeons and locations in that book, they all kind of borrow from different game styles or different ventures. Like some of them are very Morkborg, and some of them are very Mothership. But this is a book that Mary Mushman put out. It was actually originally written for 5e. It's called Nightmare Over Ragged Hollow. And the Mary Mushman guys liked it so much that they adapted it to a more OSR style. And this is, I'm see if I can show you. This is a really great example of what I'm talking about. So this is it's full of like one-page locations. This is a little underground dungeon. And you can see here this orange text, and I know it's a little hard to see, but this orange text is kind of like read aloud text.
Okay.
But then it does that thing I was talking about. So here we go. Circular chamber. A straight stone stairway leads down to a large circular chamber. The walls and floors are elegantly etched with tessellating triangles. Crystals, in bold, shine from the walls. A stone bed and shelves, bold, are carved into the walls, and a large crack, in bold, gapes in the opposite wall. And then here, bold, crystals. After being exposed to light, they glow a bright green for 1 hour at half the intensity of the original light source. So like a 5e GM could come into this and like read this to their players.
Yeah.
But the more experienced GM or someone who's just not used to the read aloud text could look down at this and know what's here and then tell the players.
So
I like that's a really good
this.
example. I mean, there's so many like. I don't know. We come into the Discord, and if you need more suggestions, because I feel like there are just so many out there. Core Morkborg, Pirate Borg, Nightmare Over Ragged Hollow,
and just
Blackboard of Brandonsford is another great one by Chance Dudenak. Those are all great starter OSR adventures.
Wait, give me that second one, that last one you just did, baby.
The Black Worm of Brandonsford. It's
got it.
Worm is WYRM.
Okay, perfect.
That's another. It's like a print-on-demand drive-through RPG, but it's just really well. It's just a really good, really well-written, succinct starter OSR adventure. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you got it. That, and then another one that's free is Skirple's Tomb of the Serpent Kings, which you could actually run in Pirate Borg. It could be a very Mazoan dungeon. That one is like it's written as a tool to teach the GM and the players how the OSR works. So,
nice.
For example, the first room they run into, there is like a mummy and then like a cracked vase with like some poison darts. And then in the second room, the vases aren't cracked. So your players will hopefully have learned in the first one, wait a second, probably, it has all these little things where it's like, hey, look, we're not going to save or die. The OSR is about teaching your players to like make important decisions. And that's really what we're trying to push in Pirate Borg. Hey, this place is clearly trapped. You know it's trapped. You don't have to roll perception. There's no perception check in Pirate Borg.
Right.
There's a presence check. But really, more it's like you see the trap. What are you going to fucking do about it?
Right. Yeah. Oh, that is perfect. Okay, I threw both of those into the chat. And then if you're watching on YouTube, guys, check in the description. And I will have those links there for you so you can see them as well. This is a more personal question for you, Luke. What are you looking most forward to seeing content-wise? What are you most excited about when you're just like, I'm putting this out here, people are going to take something beautiful that I've created and they're going to throw it back in my face? What are you most excited to see?
So we're actually, I think tomorrow we're going to release that little podcast episode we recorded where we ask this to all the judges. I'm really excited to see. I think the two things are going to be, one, I really want to see like a bunch of islands. It's so easy to just do your own island, make an island, populate it, put a dungeon on it or whatever,
Yeah.
But then the other thing is, to see the stuff that I never would have thought of. Like we already
Mm.
had our first submission, and it's from Alan Hall, who we know from the convention circuit. He was part of the Borg Corpse Run last year at PAX Unplugged,
Okay.
and he already submitted, and it's solo rules for Pirate Borg, which people have asked for us for so many times. It's it's like a little 6-page supplement on like how to kind of simulate what happens with I think it's is it Iron Sword? I can't remember the name of the really popular Sword Forge. There's a really popular solo system out there. It's like that and solitary defilement for Morkborg combined to make a thing. Like that. I didn't even think. Like, of course, somebody submitted solo rules for this jam. That's exactly what the community needs.
That is amazing. That is amazing. That will be like my next pick me up because I will tell you one thing, Luke. If I'm having a terrible day, Pirate Borg always gets it done.
Yeah.
You could almost RX Pirate Borg for me because if I'm having a terrible day or I don't want to be gaming and someone pulls out Pirate Borg, I'm gonna be like, ugh, I don't feel like okay, this is amazing. Let's go.
Like this really wasn't on purpose, but it's just such a low barrier to getting to the fun part. Some RPGs are like a lot of prep, but like I can go to a meetup or a convention
Uh-huh.
or at a con, I can sit down with a bunch of friends with no prep and we can
Mm-hmm.
roll on the tables and
Yep.
I'll reveal what's funny on the tables and then we'll play it. And it's I don't know, there's just something about pirates that make it like I said, low barrier to entry for having fun.
Agree.
And there's a lot of ways to laugh, but then you can get serious, man. You get to
Uh-huh.
some dark cult stuff, and yeah,
Yep.
it's good.
So the versatility of Pirate Borg, one just speaks to me because no game, no session, no experience is ever the same. It's one big sandbox of your imagination. The other thing is the tone can slide so quickly. So,
Oh
I don't know if
man,
it's you who
yeah,
told me this or someone else, but you're effectively playing the villains from Pirates of the Caribbean.
yeah.
So,
That's a common thing I say. Yeah,
and it's
yeah. I
just
mean,
brilliant.
but even the villains, like they're not. It's not. They're not really villains. Like you're
No,
kind of rooting for Barbosa and his guys.
you are.
Like when Barbosa, like when he gets stabbed at the end, and he's like, "I feel cold." You're like, "Oh, that's brutal." The first thing he feels in real life is
Oh.
cold. But yeah, that's it. You're playing the pirates in the first Caribbean movie. I mean, yeah, you get it.
Yeah, no. Which is when you first invited me and the other judges to come through and you kind of rolled out what the program was, the platform was, and the trailer hit, I immediately started sharing it across various of my own like platforms that I cohabitate on and hang out with. Like, if you've never played Pirate Borg, one is terrible. Just go and play it. It's like one of my top 5 favorite games of all time. Just go play it. It's
It's
onboarding is easy.
my main tagline is it's the worst pirate role playing game ever made.
Ever made. And my
Yeah,
favorite simultaneously.
yeah.
And I also was like, if you guys have never written before, but you're looking to step into writing in the TTRPG community, you couldn't find a cozier place. The rules are super intuitive and accessible. The content is like, it's so improv heavy on how
Yeah,
you
it
approach
really
and
is.
engage with it. You don't have to be in a master class of TTRPG writing to onboard and contribute to this contest. All you have to do is have half of a teaspoon of inspiration and the will to sit down and do it.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that's one fun thing about our community specifically. I don't know if it's a pirate thing or if it's a pirate mixed with OSR thing, but we've noticed that the people who are really engaged in the Pirate Borg community specifically
Yeah.
are very different. It's very different than like the core people in the Morkborg Discord server aren't even in our server. It's like a very different group of people, and they all kind of have this like I don't know. It's like very hands-on camaraderie. I mean,
Yeah.
like in a good way.
In a
Like
good way, yeah. It's a
there's
community.
not there's no gatekeeping.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the OSR side, there's very little like anybody who comes in with those strong like rulesy questions, they immediately get shown like, bro, do what you want. That's the vibe here. Like
Yeah.
welcome to your own pirate ship. You make the rules on your own ship.
Right.
So
Right. I'm
yeah.
imagining the rules as written people crashing in. It's like, I have this super specific niche, and everyone is like, oh, is this your first time? Make that shit
Yeah.
up.
We get
It's
a lot
fine.
of that. I mean, like we always try to provide answers. I
Yeah.
always try to clarify like rules as written, this
Uh-huh.
rules as intended. Do whatever you want. That's always the answer. Is like really you
Rules
should be
as
tweaking this game.
intended.
Yeah, but rules as written. I'll give like today we had somebody who was asking about this really powerful ritual called Eldritch Tentacles. Like
Mm-hmm.
it basically does D6 damage to D6 creatures,
Mm-hmm.
and he asked like, does that apply does it go away after one turn? And rules as written, the answer is yes, all those rituals only last one turn. But I was like, dude, if your guy is killing it and he's like sacrificing blood and tentacles are coming out everywhere, like maybe he rolls a test every turn to see if it keeps going, and the
Yeah.
test gets harder each turn. Like that's the kind of stuff we really try to encourage. Classic OSR rulings over rules.
Yeah.
I think that's
Rulings
really what
over
makes
rules.
a table more fun, which all of us who grew up in fifth edition like didn't know. Like there was a rule for everything, so we didn't want
Mhm.
to be against the rules. I had so many times where we would stop and look, I know we should just keep going, but I want to get it right because I don't want to retcon it. Well, if there aren't rules like in Pirate Borg, then you can't retcon it. Like you just
Yeah.
just be consistent.
Yeah, yeah, and have a good time, guys, because literally Pirate
Yeah.
Borg is 100% geared for maximum fun and enjoyment.
100%, yes.
On a base level, it's literally like, oh, you're here to have a good time? Us too. Sit down and let's go. Okay, so from a support standpoint question, this contest started today and it goes all the way through the end of May. I'm a
Mhm.
creator. I want to get in, but I need to get around some like-minded people. I would love to have somebody read my stuff or play test my stuff, or I just have questions. Or where can creators go to try to get some support from the Pirate Board community? Where are your hubs
Sure.
that
Well,
you can direct people
we
to?
we opted out of using the community feature of itch.io because we have a
Okay.
very active Discord server. There's a whole they're called forums now in Discord where it's kind of a more like post style format.
Yeah.
There's a tape or a channel in there for finding people to collaborate with. There's one for share your work. There's one
Okay.
for feedback. And like if you go and read those, you can see that like we're pretty active. I've been replying like people who ask for a feedback, I give it. And I give
Yeah.
honest feedback. And I kind of feel like it's not so much like an ace in the hole, but it's like back in school, like the kids who asked for help did well because they asked for help, not because
Correct.
no, that's kind of the vibe. That being said, there are plenty of competent creators who I know are participating who aren't going to show me their work beforehand.
Uh
I
huh.
also love that. So I would definitely say don't be scared. The only thing that's not allowed, well, there's a few things. One is low effort stuff. If we see something that we think this guy just, everybody who participates gets a pin and a sticker, like an
Yeah.
enamel or a antique metal pin and a sticker. If you submit something that looks like you just chat GPT'd it and put it on some public domain art and submitted it, we're going to kick it out. It's not going
Yeah.
to, you're not even going to get a prize, but everybody who puts in effort is going to get that. Also, you use it or like it or not, this contest is not for AI stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So no chat GPT, no mid journey, that kind of thing.
Gotcha, 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 gotcha. Heard and understood. Okay, so we know where we can go basically. And guys, if you're looking for their Discord link, Tyler just threw it into the chat. So feel free to hit that up and you can go and kind of
Yeah.
hit their hub and kind of
Oh,
go from there. Oh,
and one
go
other
ahead.
thing Tyler just reminded me of, Tyler's my quartermaster and my brother, of course.
Tyler's awesome too. We
I
love some
wrote
Tyler.
yeah, Tyler's the man.
Tyler's
Um,
amazing.
I wrote, inspired by a community written one for Morkborg, I wrote a Pirate Borg design primer, which is available at the link for Cabin Fever, where it's a PDF that kind of like explains the kind of writing that Pirate Borg uses as opposed to other systems, and all of the fonts and some graphic tips I used, and some places for resources. So, like, if you don't know where to go as a designer and you're just getting started, or you're like, I'm not an artist, well, you know what? Like, a bunch of the art in Pirate Borg, especially background art, is public domain. So
Mm-hmm.
there's no you can't go find some old public domain art and bash it up on your phone and throw it on throw it on the background. I mean, like you can get pretty creative with very little quote talent. And I really
Yeah.
think talent is bullshit word. It's really just like how much effort you've put in.
Oh, that could be a whole interview right there. Really?
Yeah, I can talk about that a lot.
The whole ass Luke Stratton is dropping crazy value right now. That's a whole different
Whole
topic
ass
by
Luke
itself.
Stratton right
It's a
here.
whole
I
ass
mean,
Luke Stratton.
I basically started drawing in COVID. So I feel like
Yeah.
anyone who's like, I can't draw is like, well, you shut up and draw. Right.
Right. That goes for you two writers. I can't write. Shut up and write. Just get it done. Let's
Yeah,
go.
man, just get it done. Also, that's the other thing is like, you don't have to write like Stephen King. You can just basically take your favorite adventure and replace all the nouns, and then after it's written, jumble it up and rewrite it so that you're not being like a total plagiarizing pirate. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, there are a lot of tools to get going that don't that have a very low barrier to entry. The biggest one, like always, like all things, is your drive. That's
It's your
something
drive.
you
Yeah.
can't. You can't make that up. So
Oh, okay. All right, babe. So contest, and you can't make that up. Contest goes the entire month of May. I know this is an awkward question, but when are you looking at having everything consolidated out the door, ready to go? Is it a year from now,
so
two
I
years from
have the
now, 6 months?
no, no, no. I have the voting window. So itch will let all the judges vote.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a category they can, everybody will vote on, and then I'm assuming we'll probably have to have some conversations unless it's just like obvious. That window is only for the week after, which I'm guessing we might have to push. It depends if like right now there's 117 people signed up. If half of those submit and half of those submit more than once, we're talking 80 entries to read. So that might be a
Yeah.
big ask for the judges. So we might push that. But I think as soon as we can get like the judges to agree that they've like looked at everything,
Yeah.
we'll get it in, and then I don't know if I'm gonna do the layout or if we're gonna have somebody else do it, but like it will be more of an administrative task than a creative one because
Uh
you
huh.
should have already done your layout. We just need to get your file into the final, you know,
Right.
PDF format, add page numbers, add a table of contents, and we already did the cover, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and then we're gonna put it up on Lulu, and everybody who wins gets a copy, and then everybody else can buy it on Lulu print on demand. So
Which I love that. Just when I saw that in the trailer and I was reading through, I was just like, fucking Limithron. I love them so much. Everyone who contributed successfully gets a free copy of the book. Like, really?
yeah,
I love
we
the
just really
contributor
wanted to be
copy.
like
Thank you.
just act as if, man. You just gotta be the change. That's really the idiom I mean. It's just like I had this one. I won't say the company, but I was at Gen Con one year and I GM'd for this company, and
Mm-hmm.
I ran games for them like all weekend.
Yeah.
And I went to the booth to be like, "Hey man, can I get a discount?" Like, and I was just really, I just like I could afford anything at the booth. I just thought it'd be cool to get a discount. I'm like, I'm an official GM.
Right.
And they're like, "Oh, you got the adventure?" And I was like, "You mean the one I had to run for you guys?" Like, and they're like, "Yeah." And I was like, and that really rubbed me wrong. So we've really, really tried to be the opposite of that.
Yeah.
We've got this Harbor Master program, so people who run games either at conventions or at their local game store or stream online, you can qualify for rewards. We actually have soft announced those rewards. They're over on the Harbor Masters page, but like I think the 12th game. Tyler, can you put a link to that?
I was just about to type him and ask him, like, Tyler, can you give us the Harbor's Masters link?
There it is.
Wow.
Look at that.
Jesus,
Look at
Tyler.
that ninja. He probably already had it in there before I said it because I'm on the
Holy
delay.
hell.
But like the top level is like you know, a Harbor Master branded D2 coin. Um,
Yeah.
it's like I just love that stuff that like you can't get it unless you put like you did something special, like you won a
Yeah.
tournament, but we don't have tournaments because this is a role playing game. We really want to basically like throw stuff, throw cash we've got from making this game back at people in the form of stuff they couldn't have bought otherwise.
Otherwise, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really interesting that we're discussing this right now because it's perfect timing. Because one of my backer questions for you, and we're not going to talk about it now, we're going to finish up with Cabin Fever, and then I'm going to ambush you.
Oh,
Is
sure, yeah.
basically how did you guys build such a successful GM fleet of people that are just like diehard, super excited, enthusiastic to run
Oh,
for you, and it's so
this is
beautifully
easy.
well
Well,
run.
it wasn't easy to accomplish, but it was easy. Here's are the steps. Number
Okay.
one, and I say this all the time: steal like a pirate. I actually have a book. Where is it?
Steal like a pirate.
Here. This is a small business book. It's called "Be More Pirate." And it's by this guy who basically San Cunif, whatever this guy. This is basically a book on like how the pirates were so unique and original, and so we basically stole a GM program from Goodman Games. That's
Uh huh.
we asked Joe about it. We asked him a bunch of questions. It's the same format. We really think that Pirate Borg is a great game for conventions. We think it's really, really fun to play
It
hiccups and
is.
one shots.
It
And we really
is.
want people to like, fly the flag.
Yeah.
So we reward people who do that. I think part of it is that the game is fun. So when people
Mm-hmm.
run it, they get into running it. It's
Mm-hmm.
also got depth, especially as this new book, which I'm sure we'll talk about,
Uh huh.
is coming out. So I think there's stuff for people to sink their teeth into, and I think that helps grow that program.
Yeah.
And the other big ace in the hole that most people won't have is I have Tyler motherfucking Stratton on my team, who's
Honey.
he's an assistant director in Hollywood. and he runs that whole program, and he like interfaces with all those harbor masters.
Yep.
He's the man.
Oh, Tyler
You
is
gotta get
brilliant.
yourself a Tyler.
Oh, listen, everyone needs a Tyler in their life. Let me talk about Tyler like he ain't watching it in the chat right now. So at some point early
He's
on,
laughing so hard right now. He's got a big shit-eating grin.
I'm gonna talk about Tyler like he ain't even in the room with us right now. So I don't know. This was maybe Origins last year. So this was Origins 2023. I had submitted, and so backing up a little bit further, we had Luke on the Miskatonic University podcast talking about Pirate Borg, and I had this loose scenario that I had kind of written, but not really, and I pitched it to Luke on the recording. He gave me some feedback. I incorporated that, submitted it to Origin. It's good to go. And then life started lifing, and I didn't really get a chance to flesh it out the way that I wanted to. So.
Sure.
2-3 weeks before Origins, I'm just like, I haven't played Pirate Borg in like 6 months. I don't have this content written. I've got too much stuff going on. Let me see if someone can support me really fast. Who did I hit up? Tyler. You know what Tyler handed me? Tyler handed me a list of videos where he's training GMs on how to interact with the content, how to articulate the rules with actual questions coming at him as he's going through. I sat there and watched the video. I was like, okay,
He
yep,
did like a live stream where
right. That's just pre-packaged and good to go. So again, writers, if you're like, I want to write for Cabin Fever, but I haven't played Pirate Borg yet, you can look at that video and be like, got it. Okay.
Yep.
I completely understand.
We've really tried to do as a company is to be, like I said, be the change. So I know that sounds cheesy, but like, we had a lot of experiences, especially coming from like a WotC, kind of big corporate thing where they make this really, really nice published adventure, but then they're moving on and you can't really interact with those people directly that made it.
Right.
And like they pass it off to another wing that does the VTT implementations. Well, like Tyler and I do, like I design with Foundry in mind, and Tyler does all our Foundry implementations. We're working on our Roll20 implementation right now, and like it's taking so long because we're like, no. We got to go back. We got to make a compendium and make an art pack because when GMs get this, they're going to want, like, we just are on both sides of it. So we really work to like make sure that our stuff is like as good as it can be when it gets to the GM so that they can get all that crap out of the way and just have fun playing the game.
And just have fun playing the game. Yeah, it was, so when I wound up running that game and I was in the room right next to the Pirate Borg room at Origins, which was absolutely amazing because just the positivity and the laughter and the horror and the fun that was constantly bleeding out of that room was amazing. But again, what did you guys do? Constantly come over and check in, constantly drop off swag, come over, be obnoxious, take a selfie, go in the other room. So what did we do? We kept running into your room. Trading swag, hanging out, and just like there are so many Symphony GMs that are just like, man, working with Lemethron is amazing. It's not a chore that they have to endure to be able to get the compensation they need to go to a convention. A lot of times people are just like, man, I got to do what I got to do because I can't afford a badge. So whatever, I'll run these 12 hours, call it. No, it's like people are like excited to run your content and then simultaneously are getting the support and the convention support from it too, which is absolutely amazing because I have yet to hear something negative about the Quartermaster program or you from any of our GM. Everyone is like, oh, I get to hang out with Luke at Origins. It's going to be great. Oh, I'm going to get to see Tyler and so it's going to be great.
I will not be, unfortunately, I won't be at Origins this year.
Cancel the con.
But Tyler and the whole team will be there.
Oh, never mind. Put it back on.
Swabby, Kyle will be there. We got the full dudes coming out, so we'll be taking care of everybody.
Good.
I'll be on tour in Europe, so I can't make it.
Oh, well, be safe in Europe. Have an amazing time. Post lots of pictures so we can enjoy.
I'm going to be trying to get those old world inspirations for all the like French and Spanish influences in the Dark Caribbean. So.
Yes. Okay. Speaking of Dark Caribbean, you want to go there and talk about upcoming books?
Yeah. Actually, so with the Dark Caribbean, it's the setting in Pirate Borg, but also it's really the thing I always meant to make. Before I started making Pirate Borg, I was working on this book. It's called The Dark Caribbean. It was going to be originally a 5e book, very much in the vein of Neverland, from Andrew Kolb, who's also gone on to make Oz, and he's got a new book called Wonderland coming out, which is going to be like Alice in Wonderland. Excuse me. But through that book, I discovered The Dark of Hot Springs Island, which is an amazing system agnostic kind of OSR setting book on an island crawl. The Dark Caribbean is basically the thing I've always wanted to make since I got into this. It's basically a thick dossier of all the NPCs in the Dark Caribbean. It's a guide to all the islands and all the ports.
Mm-hmm.
It's a handful of random generators for creating things that you're missing. Like, for example, there's a port generator for each of the 5 factions where you can roll up a random port. But then also, like I said, kind of be the change, like the art assets I make for those ports that I put
Yeah.
into the background, those are available for GMs to drag and drop in their VTT to make their own port. So you can mix and match from different factions, that kind of thing. So this book is going to be, it's going to be the book, like the best role playing book I think I've ever seen, because it's going to be a Dark Caribbean book.
Right.
Um, and so I was having a really rough winter, January, February, because I was I have a lot of travel this summer, and I
Okay.
really want this Kickstarter to go live in September. But I've also been, kind of listening to these like productivity books. As you can tell, I'm
Yeah.
kind of really into the like business education side.
Mm-hmm.
And I just decided, you know what, man, like screw this. Like it's not worth my mental health, because I really want to get it done before the Kickstarter. I hate those Kickstarters that
Yeah.
back and then you don't get it for many years. I want to have
Yeah.
the PDF like almost done when the Kickstarter finishes.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? This book, it means too much to me. I'm going to push it. So it's actually worked out really well. So I pushed the Dark Caribbean to next year, but I'm still releasing it on the Patreon as we work on it. And then we have a new book coming out that's kickstarting on Talk Like a Pirate Day, September 19th.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Down Among the Dead. And it's going to be 3 medium length adventures, some of which were slated for the Dark Caribbean, when I've moved out of that book and into this book because they
Okay.
were kind of too long. That book it's like already at like 300 pages.
Oh, when you
Um,
said thick, you meant thick.
yeah, I meant thick.
You meant thick, baby. Here we go. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But now Down Among the Dead is going to have 3 adventures. The first one's called Venom in the Veins. It's like a very Indiana Jones, like serpent temple kind of vibe.
Yep.
There's Into the Maelstrom. The Maelstrom is the name of a
Ooh.
vampire ship. And your players can basically go onto this ship and experience Curse of Strahd on a boat. That's kind of the vibe. And then Lost in the Locker is a post TPK or post drowning or post whirlpool adventure where your characters are stuck in Davy Jones's locker, which is a collection of like very like ghostly islands, and they have to figure
Stop,
out
Luke. Are you
how
serious?
to get out. It's so much. I've play tested it a bunch. It is really, really fun. It's so different. There's all kinds of cool little tricks in there that break your players' expectations, which I won't
Yeah.
spoil on here, but it's really, really fun. But then that Kickstarter, like, because we're doing it this year, we get to move all these things that we were going to wait on. We're going to get to do
Yeah.
them this year. So we're going to do, 12-inch by 12-inch folding map books that
Mhm.
have all the pirate ships in them. So if you into battle maps, you can get that. We're going to do a neoprene hex grid water mat and punch out cardboard ships, so you can do like a cost effective naval combat rather than having to
Right.
go like full 3D miniatures.
Right.
We're doing D2, like player Devil's Luck D2s. We're doing Pirate Borg dice. We're doing a GM screen. It's going to be like the whole works. All the stuff that was going to wait that people keep asking for, we're going to just do it now.
You're just gonna do it now.
Yeah.
Oh God. I was excited about it before, but this is before I knew some of the trimmings and the bells and whistles that you've added since the last time we spoke, Luke. Holy hell.
Yeah,
Also,
it should be fun.
I am proud of you for going, nope, y'all not about to stress me out. I'm not about to stress myself out. There's no harm in actually protecting myself and advocating for myself, taking a step back and just slowing it down. Good for you.
Yeah, I mean, to plug in, I sound like a self-help guy, but to plug this other book I'm reading, I was telling you about it earlier today. It's called Slow Productivity by Cal Newport. He wrote Deep Work, which I'm a big fan of. But Slow Productivity, it has all these examples of like, he calls them knowledge workers, like knowledge workers throughout history who have been like, hey, look, it looks like this guy took, 3 months to do this, but really it took him 6 years.
Yeah.
Like, put the brakes on and do quality work, and then make time for yourself, because the time for yourself can actually inform the process and make it go better and avoid burnout.
Facts.
So as a point of, acting on practice what you preach. Today's the 1st, which means that yesterday I was really busy with my Patreon. I finished all my Patreon work today. I took the afternoon off and I went to see the Alien 45th anniversary edition in theaters. I'm not just I always wear this Alien hat, but today I wore it very proudly,
Yeah.
and all because of that book. So I really feel like, it really helps to really like guard what is important to you, and you
Yeah.
don't want to just. I don't want to turn into like the pirate cash guy. I just print stuff to make money off it. Like as soon as I
Right.
stop loving what we're making, I'll move on to something else.
Then
That's
you'll
just
move
how
on
I
to
am.
something else. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, beautifully articulated. Bucho is in the chat. We're like, yep, forcing a product always, always, always ends up with an inferior product. So bravo,
Yeah.
bravo, bravo. Okay.
Yeah.
Baby, before I hit you with these. Oh, and by the way, Bucho, don't say shit to me when I make this comment to Luke. I don't want to hear you. I don't want to talk to you. Don't say shit to me in the Discord. Don't text me. Bucho, say nothing to me. Hey, Luke, we're not going to make this in an hour. Are you okay with going an additional 15 minutes, an
Yeah.
additional
Yeah.
20
Yeah.
minutes?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Sure.
Bucho,
Sure.
don't say shit to me. I swear to God. We just had a
Bridgett,
lounge
you can send me
yesterday.
a message.
Really?
No,
Ri-
just kidding. Don't
Luke,
send
are
me a
you
message either.
choosing sides tonight?
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Don't send me a message.
You know what? That's completely fine. You and Bucho have a wonderful life. I'm going to take
I'm on
Tyler.
Team Bridgett.
Nah, nope. I'm going to take Tyler and y'all two go off into the sunset. What y'all not going to do is fuck with me like that tonight. Hey, Tyler, we're a thing now. Just so you know. It's us against the world, baby. Don't let her
nice working with you,
manhandle you
Tyler.
like that, Luke. Okay. All right. Before I actually move us, is there anything else you want to hit in Cabin Fever or in the Dark Caribbean? Because my backer questions are just as wild as I am. They are everywhere.
Okay, yeah. There's a few things I have a little list here. I just want to touch on. So yesterday's Patreon releases were both geared to help Cabin Fever. I released 12 new black and white maps into the Creative Commons. So you don't even have to be a Patreon subscriber to get those and mash them up. It is the license where you have to give attribution and use that same license for whatever you come up with that map.
Yeah.
But it's a great way to, like, if you don't, have an idea or you need a map for your adventure or for your project, you can totally just use one of those. Also, like I mentioned, I've been releasing the Dark Caribbean on the Patreon, and yesterday's release, it contained a 6-page summary of every island and port. So if you want to know what the Dark Caribbean has planned for, Port Royal, or for example, a great example is my buddy Zach Molnar is working on a thing for Cabin Fever. He was doing Bermuda, and I was like, hey, dude, I don't know what I'm going to put there, but I do know that in Dark Caribbean, it's called Isle of Devils, and is a volcano in Devils. And I told him that, and he changed the name and added those things. And I was like, you know what? I should really share this with everybody so they don't like do something that will totally conflict when the book comes out. Because I want it to be evergreen.
Yeah.
But also, I love the idea that someone is like, you know what? Like, the Havana treatment in Dark Caribbean was cool, but I added like a whole other thing. And like, why not just use both or pick which one you want as a GM? So that's kind of our vibe. That's pretty much it. I think the other thing was, oh yeah, I mean I can talk about Dark Caribbean all day, so let's maybe not do.
Listen, don't threaten us with a good time, because Symphony loves you and I love you. I am more than happy to come right back and do another one of these a month before that Kickstarter. Don't threaten me with a good time.
I'm sure we'll yeah.
As much as I love some Luke Stratton, don't threaten me with a good time. All right, babe. These are the backer questions.
Give me these backer questions. Let me add them. Should I answer them all in character?
Oh,
I welcome. Hi. We'll see how long this be lasting there.
Bridget's not gonna make it. Holy shit. Okay, we're ready. We're ready.
Okay, lass. Don't you be worrying.
I can do it. We're good. Okay. First question. How'd you get to be so cool?
When I'm not sure. When I figure out how to be cool, I'll let you know. I think my real answer is work hard as fuck. That's my.
Is that what it is?
Dude, I love what I do. In every major career I've had, I've always loved what I do. Just keep working hard,
Yo, Tyler is so unimpressed with you right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember I had this. This is a stupid aside. I was back home. This is years before I got married. I was back home in Ohio from college, and I ran into this girl who I thought was so cool in middle school, and she was and I didn't think I was very cool, and we're hanging out, and she's like, "Yeah, you were so cool in middle school," and I was like, "What are you talking
What?
about?" So you never know. You never know. You probably are already really cool to somebody, and you just don't think it.
And you
That's
just
what
don't think it. You just don't think
Yeah.
it. Listen, that's straight from the lips of a whole ass Luke Stratton.
The whole ass, Luke
A whole
Stratton.
ass Luke Stratton. All right, baby. Do you want dungeons, adventures, mega dungeons, or super mega dungeons?
Me personally, or in the adventure,
I think this
or
is for
in the
cabin
jam?
fever in the jam. Yeah. Do you want
I would go
dungeons,
with
adventures,
the shortest of all those, just dungeons.
just dungeons?
Because first off, mega dungeons. I mean, if we're talking mega, you're talking like a whole book is a mega dungeon.
Okay.
You know, like first off, Pirate Borg. I don't know. I mean, like it'd be cool to do a really deep, crawl in a pyramid like once maybe. But like
Okay.
the fun thing about Pirate Borg is like getting the loot, doing the thing, and then going and spending the money or sailing somewhere else.
Okay.
So I would say just regular dungeons, and by dungeons in the Dark Caribbean, that usually means Mazoan temples, which
Yeah.
is the like Mayan, Olmec, Aztec. It's kind of like the Wakanda mixed with all those. They're like because of magic and whatnot, they survived and they have a badass city and they fought off the undead for thousands of years or whatever.
Yeah.
Or derelict ships. Those are usually or cenotes and underground caves. Those are the
derelict
three
ships is a
like
good
dungeon
one.
categories. But like in the Dark Caribbean, like basically you have to imagine when the Europeans showed up, there was just treasure everywhere. So you have like way more people than in our history. But then the undead like killed all these people. So then there's all these like derelict ships just full of treasure. So that's if you need a dungeon, just like put a bunch of ships together on a rock and give them some cool theme and some weird dark monster inside. Boom, you're done.
And then call it a day.
Checks in the mail.
And when is the last time you played Pirate Borg, and how was your experience?
Well, we were talking about this briefly before the stream. I just got done so like I said, I have a lot of travel this summer, big tour. So I planned for the first part of the year. I had a 13 session Dark Caribbean playtest group. We met every week in person with a few weeks off for Gary Con and whatnot. And it was awesome. It was like the best group I've ever had. Like,
Nice.
I don't know if it's just because of the OSR, because they were also friends that I've met through role playing, but it was, I had a lot of games when I first started playing were like, oh, I don't like playing with this rules lawyer, or this guy's really flaky, or like everybody has stories like this. This group was like almost everybody every week, and when they weren't there, it was for a good reason. It was like, and I really got to dive in and figure out like, oh man, like I need more here, or oh wait, they're never gonna go there. Like, so it was really fun. And then I think after that ended, the next weekend I at the Ship of the Dead, which is our it's a lot of things, but it's also our meetup.com group. We meet every month in Denver. For the last one, I ran the Lost in the Locker, which is that TPK Davy Jones and Locker.
Yeah.
As a play test.
Really want to look at that one.
I play Pirate Borg pretty regularly, yeah.
Okay. Listen, 13 sessions is actually really impressive, baby. That's some nice longevity for Pirate Borg. I'm here for it.
Look, we were going to go through the calendar in Pirate Borg, and like we actually did some really cool stuff. Like we took a little bit of a break. I ran Lost in the Locker for them, and they were there for like 2 sessions. And I was like, man, this is going to I'm not gonna have time to get to all these things I want to in the calendar. So what I did is when they got out of the locker, first off, one of the things when Lost in the Locker is that time is like gonzo. So like whenever you travel from a location, you roll a D20 and it can go, the time it takes to travel from one location to another goes from you arrived 5 seconds before you left to like it took you 10,000 years to get there. So my players had been through like hell by the time they got out of there. Some of them had like leveled up, like had +2 presence from the amount of time they'd had with their thoughts. So the perfect solution happened when I brought them back to the actual Dark Caribbean. I just skipped like 3 rows of the calendar, and like this beautiful tropical place they had loved was now like covered in like smoke-filled skies, and all the people had like moved to just the major cities, and like Port Royal's the only major city left. Havana had just had a huge fire. Nassau had been destroyed by Blackbeard, the necromancer. It was awesome. So we spent the last session doing this really. Actually, I kind of want to talk about this real quick.
No, let's do it. Let's do it.
We had this. There's these 2 NPCs in the Dark Caribbean. One is a Mizzoan kind of very Aztec Mayan lich.
Okay.
She's fucking badass. And the other is this guy. He's like a kind of demonic goat skull on that's he's on fire, and he's got like candles on his
Oh.
shoulders. And he's actually borrowed from my friends at Archon Games who make this game Eschaton. We actually Adam, one of the designers of that game, was in this playtest group, and I
Okay.
love this guy, so I made this guy Avatar of the Dark One. Well, he's basically come from hell, from the netherworld, to reclaim all these undead that keep escaping, and this lich necromancer from the Yucatan is like causing all these skeletons to bring bones back to the Yucatan. So I had the two of them fight, but the players pick sides. They didn't just go with one another. So we had this massive combat where it's like hordes of undead versus like demons on the Yucatan in this place called Skeleton City. And I gave them each boss had 100 hit points, and they didn't have to roll to hit, and they did D20 damage. And it was like an amazing way to end the campaign. So I'm gonna try to do like a boss battle spread in the Dark Caribbean to like give people ideas how to do that kind of thing. So
Oh my God, that is amazing. So it's literally just like we're not rolling a hit. There's no dodging. There's no like mass combat. There's no war combat. Like, listen, let's see the damage and see who ticks down first.
yeah, and we'd alternate. Like one player would go for the boss, and another player would go for their turn, and then the boss, and then a PC turn. So it was pretty fun.
Oh, that's dope. Oh, that's dope. That's dope. That's dope. That's dope. That's dope. 13 sessions, baby. That's still. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Oh, okay. Why itch.io versus another platform? Why them specifically?
Well, every jam I've seen in our little Morkborg community has been on itch. People who are already creators. It's a really great platform for creators who don't have any other outlets to just make digital stuff and sell it.
Yeah.
You know, you can make a drive-through RPG account, which you should, but itch is just a good way to like get your stuff up, and it's kind of like the new school MySpace that you can monetize.
Did you
And then
just
they
call
have a
itch
feature.
MySpace?
Yeah. They also have a feature called jams where you can, you know, basically you run the jam during a period, and there's judges. Like the user interface is designed for that, so you can assign judges or assign a ranking system. It just really works well for exactly what we're doing. So.
Gotcha. Okay. What would you say to a brand new creator who is hesitating about participating in the contest?
Oh man, they should stop hesitating immediately. Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the cool things. One of the reasons that Morkborg third-party community. I mean, they're over. I think they're at like 1,500 third-party submissions on exlibris.com, which is the.
Wow.
I mean, it's like there are so many, and some of them are jokey. You know, some of them are jokey but serious. Like I have a copy of Fiskborg, which is like a fishing version of Morkborg or a fishing supplement. It's like kind of a joke, but also fucking awesome. I just feel like it really is like, you know, when you make something for 5th edition or even Call of Cthulhu, it's like there's such an established design and such an established thing that people are expecting. And with Morkborg, it's like the opposite. Like, hey, we're breaking all the expectations. Do whatever you want with graphic design. Make a mini game. Make whatever you want inside of whatever. Like, it's just, you know. And there's no one gatekeeping it. There's no like, you have to follow this. You know, oh, you didn't use the right fonts. Like, well, you could use the fonts I used in Pirate Borg, but if I had done that based off of Morkborg, we wouldn't have Pirate Borg because
you wouldn't have Pirate Borg, right?
Yeah, so you got to kind of like you got to know where that line is. Are you trying to make stuff for people who are running a like canon Dark Caribbean game to slot in, or are you making like a new thing? Like, hey, I want to make space pirates. Great, you know,
great.
Now I will say, space pirates isn't what we're looking for in this jam.
Fair,
but I'm also 1 of 7, so if it's fucking cool, like I'm gonna get outvoted. You know.
Love it. Okay. What's the most memorable encounter for Pirate Borg for you as a GM?
It's weird that I know the answer for this. I would think I wouldn't know, but I know what it is.
Oh, here we go. You don't even have to think about it. You're just already there. Okay.
I don't have to think about it at all. Probably because I've told the story a bunch. And forgive me if I've told you this story, but I was
we're gonna go for it now.
One of our meetups. I was play testing Buried in the Bahamas, and in Buried in the Bahamas, there's this dungeon, and there's this, you know, kind of multi-skulled monster at the end. And I had this player who I'm pretty sure she was from 5e World. The way she was playing seemed like she was from 5e World, which is great. I love bringing people in the OSR. And she kept being like, she had 1 hit point and she was a sorcerer. And she's like, what can I do to fight this thing? I was like, well, what do you want to do? She's like,
Yeah.
she would always look at her sheet. She's always looking at her sheet for the answer. I was like, the answer. After a while, I was like, the answer's not on her sheet. Tell me what you want to do.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be a rule thing. And she was like, well, I have this conch shell. And so there's this monster. There's also this ghost flying around. So the ghost is attacking them and they can't figure out how to kill this like clay monster. So she's like, okay, I pull out my conch shell and I want to smoke the ghost. And I was like, okay, roll for, actually, I think I just let her do it because it was such a cool idea.
It's such a
And then
cool
I had her
idea.
roll on the ash table because she had just consumed a ghost.
Right.
And she rolled the synesthesia result. So she
Oh,
could like
God.
taste colors.
Yep.
So she spent the rest of the session like basically exploring the dungeon with her tongue, like licking all the treasure. And I had to like come up with what color it was, And it was just like a perfect example. I'm surprised she never came back to the meetup, which I'm really surprised because I thought she had a lot of fun. And I was like, this is like the kind of thing that doesn't happen in a rules heavy game.
Right. Right.
So that was really, really good one,
Oh, that's anything that ends with licking the treasure is always a good call. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, this one is how much random table improvisation or prepped content does Luke use when he runs his games?
Oh man, it really depends. I'm in a different spot because I'm often playtesting now. I mean, even for this Dark Caribbean thing, like I was running it like normal, but like if I were running it just for fun, I would be like, you know what? I got this cool zine the other day. I'm gonna run that. But like this is a playtest group. Like there's no point in like they're there so that I can run ideas off them.
Correct. Correct.
So it's different for me. I think if I wasn't playtesting something at all, like for example, I've already written this. Like I'm at a convention, I'm just gonna run something for fun. I use a ton of random stuff. I've run whole sessions. Actually, I had a game at Game On Expo earlier this year, right before GaryCon, where I had a charity game where I was running for a group of people, and I actually had guys come to the con just to play this game. They weren't gonna come otherwise, which is really cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
But like I didn't really have I was like, what do you want to do? And he like didn't have something in mind. So I was like, okay, well, so we ended up just kind of taking the adventure that I ran for you guys on the Ain't Slayed Nobody. I kind of took this idea of like this kind of big coral ent monster in Port Royal, but then I like rolled a job on this table and made this whole thing up, and they had to basically get that guy out of Port Royal, this guy who's like captive in Port Royal. He's like this crazy sorcerer. But they had to fight. It basically was like a heist mission where they were doing it against Charles Vane, who's called Bloody Vane in the Dark Caribbean. He's like a blood cultist, blood sorcerer. So there's like all this blood magic, and it was like we made the whole thing up, and they ended up like running through the marketplace. And it was, long answer to a short question. I use random tables all the time. Even when I know what's going on in the world.
Oh yeah, the random tables add so much flash and flair, and just the flavor profile on the tables, which, spoiler alert, when you guys hear the podcast of what I'm looking for as a judge, is I love the random tables. Random tables make my life so happy in Pirate Borg. Especially as someone who's improv heavy and really hates prep. Give me tables and I'll rock out from there. Go ahead.
So the cool thing about random tables though is like I really like prep, but I've learned to prep in a different way now. I have Mike Shea's it's right here on my desk, Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master.
He's like, wait, it's right here. Awesome. I got it.
Yeah, this book is really, really great.
Return to the Lazy Dungeon Master. Hold on.
Return to the Lazy, and he basically it's like how to prep a game in like an hour or 15 minutes. Like so I've really embraced a lot of that, but like the random tables like really help with that. I think sometimes prep can really actually mess your game up. Because if you over prep in the wrong department, you want to push the players there. So when you don't prep, you're actually like there with them making it up. It does take some more confidence, and experience helps. But for the right GM, man, it's just way more. I feel like I'm playing more now. Back when I was only running 5th edition.
Correct. You are playing more. Yep.
Yeah, I felt like I was almost like working. Like, I'd made all these assets, and like they got to go here because I prepped it. Battle map for it, and I made tokens for all the I used to make individual NPC art tokens found from Pinterest, because this is pre-AI, like for every crew member on the ship. And like now I would never do that, because then I'm spending time like fiddling with tokens instead of like pretending to be the characters.
Pretending to be the character. Yeah.
Yeah.
You made a very valuable point there that I'm going to steal from you, recycle, and then try to give you credit for in the future, which is when you're dealing with low prep, high improvisational games as the GM, as a storyteller, as a keeper, it really refreshes you where you become a player in the situation and not just like a storyteller, which is, I've never heard it articulated that way, Luke. And now that's something I'm just going to embody, because that is very, very true for me, especially when it comes to something like Pirate Borg, where I can sit down and be like, you're on a boat. Somebody roll D20.
Yeah,
all right, we're doing this.
Exactly.
And then you just kind of rock out.
Think back to our Necronomicon game with Mike.
Oh
Mason.
My God, with Mike Mason and Paul Fricker and
rolled with the improv.
Corey.
That like everything that was great about that. This game is on YouTube, by the way. But everything that was great about that game was the improv. You know,
was the improv.
Like, we ran a dungeon that I had already written, but like the results of it was so different because Mike ended up drinking this. He drank a polymorph potion that I rolled for that randomly.
Yep.
And then he turned into a whale. It was just like, I don't know, that kind of stuff. That doesn't happen when you're really guarded about it. And when you like let go, you're like, oh, wait a second. Like, we're playing with our imaginations here. Like the point is to be like imaginative, you know?
So when it comes to surrendering and letting go, and Luke, I don't know if I've told you this story. I might have, baby, but if I didn't, you're going to hear it now. So Origins 2023, I ran my 4 games for the Symphony badge and blah, 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 for presence branding, yada, yada, yada. And the last game that I had at that convention was Pirate Borg, the one that you had helped me kind of, piece together on the Miskatonic University podcast. And I was still unprepared for it because life was falling apart on me. I was dealing with incoming death in the family. Everything was terrible.
Sure.
I didn't want to be there. I was exhausted. And by the time I got to that third game, the last one was cold. By the time I got to that third game, I was like this. So I made up my mind, Luke, here's the plot. We're going to do this, and I'm going to keep this tone serious. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. At this point, I've played Pirate Borg a couple of times, but I wasn't in my right mind. Grief is some bullshit. So I was like, and it's going to be super serious. Okay, so just in case you recognize any of these names, it was your friend Nate, Carl Lehman, John Tyler, and Nate, you're also in the chat right now. It was Carl. And John C. from Ireland, which is a cast member on the Always podcast. So I sit down with 4 people that I know.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, we're going to be really serious. About 7 minutes later.
Yeah, of course.
7 minutes later, I was like, no, we're not going to be serious. This is not a thing that's actually going to happen. 20 minutes later, we were in the middle of a crab orgy. 40 minutes after that. and there was a moment. There was 2 moments I want to flag in this, and it's just something I'm very grateful for Pirate Borg for, because I tell people this story a lot. 2 moments. One, I completely surrendered and just gave up. I was like, this table is on fire. The rules are on my side because everything is so narrative focused. Let me stop trying to control the things I don't need to control and just have a good time. So I leaned into the table, and we leaned into that ash table. They got high, and I fucked them over every single time, and it was great.
Yeah, man, you got it. Yeah,
it was amazing. It was amazing. Is it called a corgi?
Another thing I've said a lot on my YouTube channel is like, just default to yes. I mean, this is kind of a popular OSR vibe going out now, though. Default to yes. Like, there's no, like, I feel like, especially coming from the like power balance, and I'm talking, but it sounds like I'm negative on 5e. I'm not. I just like I have had more fun running, without the rules. But when you've done all this stuff where you've prepped and you've put in like, oh, this should be a deadly encounter. Like, this is this much XP. You're really like setting yourself up to not just let go. And when you just default to yes, instead of being like, make a check, like, yes, that was a good idea. You do that.
Like,
I listen at the door. Okay. Yeah. You hear this. Like,
you hear this and go.
Like, make the I mean, this is one thing I've really learned from Sean McCoy, Mothership guy. Make the dice rolls matter. In 5e, there's so many skills that like, I mean, like, when does an animal handling check in normal D&D play really affect play? Now, if you're trying to ride a monster in the middle of a combat, great.
Okay,
but
sure.
Like, make those, don't call for boring checks. Like, I feel like spot hidden.
Don't call for boring checks. Yeah.
Yeah. Spot hidden has no place in my style of high action Pirate Board games.
And that's why it doesn't exist.
Yeah. Do you see it? Like, when I hear people calling for presence checks to solve things, I'm like, no. That's not, don't do that.
No.
Just say yes. Because the fun thing isn't going to be like, oh, you unlock the door.
Yeah.
Good job. No, it's going to be when they get kicked through the door and there's like 80 monsters. Like, what are they going to do now? Like, that's my vibe.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then what I love when you're doing with these tables, you kick down the door, there's 80 monsters, everyone panics, but then you roll something on a random table and the monsters are friendly towards you. So then you wind up sitting around having a good time. You start drinking beer with them, sharing stories.
I have definitely had that where it's like, okay, there's 30 skeletons here, and they're like, oh, hi, boss, welcome aboard. Like, use that reactions table.
Oh,
that's
God, the reaction tables are so fun.
In Dark Caribbean, we have a thing. There's a reputation system for tracking positive and negative modifiers. It's actually a dice system.
Oh, God.
So as you grow with the factions, you get to add dice to your reaction rolls.
Yeah.
So like the likelihood that you run into other Brethren of the Court members when you're a high-ranking pirate, they're like, not only will they like want to help you, like they might be like infatuated, So that's
right. And I cannot wait until they listen to this Ain't Slayed Nobody, because the more you're talking about it, the more I'm thinking about some of these scenes. I can't wait till you hear this production on Ain't Slayed Nobody. It's going to change your whole afternoon.
We had a lot of fun. I mean, that's another thing I've really enjoyed about like kind of getting into this community, like the industry, if you will, is that I get to play with people who are really, really good players. Like at GaryCon, I had 2 games off the books. One was with Todd Stashwick, who's on Star Trek and 12 Monkeys. And man, if you've never played with a professional actor before, I cannot recommend it enough. It is a whole other vibe.
He's like, listen,
he's like Mike Mason.
Yeah.
He'll be like, I know. There's a point where they were trying to get out of the locker. Oh, I ran lost in the locker for them.
Okay.
And he was like trying to give Charon, the ferryman, his devil's luck. And I was like, no, that's a meta currency. He's like, I give it to him anyway. I was like, no, and he's like, and I was like, all right, fine. He takes it.
He takes it. Yeah.
These actors will push you. It's really funny. But then I also ran for the, the Legends of Evantris guys.
No, I haven't met them yet.
They did the Crooked Moon Kickstarter. It's the highest 5e Kickstarter of all time. It made like $4.5 million. But they run this hilarious YouTube show of Legends of Evantris.
Okay.
And I ran a like Monkey Island, totally improv Monkey Island one shot for them. And it was one of my favorite moments of all time. Like, not even just in role playing. Like, it ended with like the same kind of boss fight thing.
Yeah.
But the boss was LeChuck, the ghost pirate, versus a formerly undead ghost monkey who had uncursed himself back to life, spraying LeChuck with a barrel full of Ghostbuster root beer. Like, it was amazing. It was so much fun. So.
Because Pirate Borg. Because
exactly.
Pirate Borg. Oh. This is coming from one of your GMs. Don't blame me. All I did was hit copy and paste. With the current success of Pirate Borg, are you now ready to sail the open ocean with me like we discussed? I'll bring the grog, Luke. This is coming from Doc Tracy.
Man, you don't have to really, that's not really a hard sale for me. I just, default to yes, right?
Yeah, right.
I mean, I do want to say I had really, really incredible year last year. I turned 40, and Tyler and my cousin Swabby Kyle and one of my groomsmen Tom, we all met up in the Caribbean, and we actually rented a boat for a few days and got to play some Pirate Borg on a boat. We play tested Buried in the Bahamas and then ended the world, and we threw a copy of Pirate Borg into the Nassau Harbor, and it was like amazingly cathartic. I actually have a bunch of it on video. I just haven't put it up yet, but man, if you haven't played, that's the thing, man. Pirate Borg, play it on a beach, play it on a boat.
Play it on a boat.
Bring it on a cruise. It is perfect for that. So.
Oh God. Okay, those are like goals. I feel like that should be initiative. I might do that for like Symphony in September. Like, hey, for the next whatever month, send me a picture of you playing Pirate Borg on a boat on a beach or something and get a prize. That's Bucho's not here.
We really
I need somebody to send me that.
I mean, I'm not gonna say that I'm stretched thin, but we don't have the resources, people and time wise yet, but we really, really want to do a destination, cruise kind of thing.
Don't threaten us with a good time, baby. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't threaten me
So,
with a good time. I need a
I
fucking
mean,
vacation
like, I
anyways.
think-
Don't threaten me with a good time.
I
A
feel like
pirate board cruise.
hotel. Yeah, exactly. I feel either like a small hotel kind of like St. Augustine,
Oh
somewhere
yeah.
that feels really pirate, or I mean, why not both? Like, I would love to, even if it's like our group is part of a larger cruise.
Yep.
I don't think
Why
we could
not?
fill a whole
Th-
boat.
that would be great. Or
But
we could just take over a shit ton of Airbnb somewhere in Key West. Like these are options.
dude,
These are
yeah, I
things that
just
we
feel
can
like
do.
that would be. I don't know. That would be just so fun. It would be one of those things where you're like, this is just like a life memory. So
This is a life memory. Tyler,
Yeah.
I know your bandwidth is triple tapped, but if you could get on that for 2026, that would be absolutely amazing. Thanks, Tyler. I really appreciate it. Go ahead and get on that for us.
Yeah, I think the thing is really what we should do is after this next Kickstarter, just poll everybody. How
Yeah.
interested would you be in X, Y, and Z?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Don't threaten me with a good time where I can go play Pirate Borg and then ignore somebody for 48 hours while I introvert at a beach somewhere. This is all day. It's on, captains.
Yeah. I mean,
I need
yeah.
Tyler in my life.
And,
I don't
you
get
know,
enough Tyler.
if we do it really, really smart,
Mhm.
we'll have a bring your partner track so that partners can have, who don't play RPGs. Like, it's pretty hard to sell like, hi, honey, I'm going to go to the Caribbean for a weekend without you.
And play Pirate
But if you
Borg.
sell it where you get to go with your spouse or your partner, and then they can have a different adventure track that's not
Yeah.
role playing. Then we're in, So
Oh gosh, listen. Tyler said we're all about it, honey. So 2026, y'all got work
it's
to do. We
gonna
can figure it
happen. I
out.
just don't know. You know how we are. We don't
I
want to
know.
do anything bad.
I
Like,
know.
we want to do it as good as possible,
Yeah.
and that means we're gonna
Doing
get
it well.
best GMs. And we talked about doing one where it's like very not just Pirate Borg,
Yeah.
but like an OSR cruise.
Oh.
The cruise, so we'll see how big we want to go with it before we actually
Yeah.
make it happen.
Listen, like I said, don't threaten me with a good time, honey. I need a beach.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing. Okay, Luke, we are cooking with grease. Before I do the giveaway and before I do the outro, is there anything else that you want to discuss? Is there any other treasure chest that we haven't unopened? Anything we need to pull back the sand on?
Look,
Is there any
No.
star that we didn't identify that you
no,
want to hit?
I think I really hit my notes pretty well.
Good.
Let me see. We talked about, I mean, like we said, we're pretty approachable. Oh, no. Yeah, we're good. We'll do the outro later, but
Yeah.
I'm ready to move on.
Okay. Then we are cooking with grease, guys.
I've battened down my hatches.
And you've come up with some really beautiful boundaries. So I am all for all the books that you are reading that are like protect your peace. Okay, Symphony, we are getting ready to do this giveaway. I saw a bunch of people chime in on this one, so I wish you guys the best of luck. This lucky person is going to get a free copy of Pirate Borg. I will be mailing, because I had a lounge yesterday with a bunch of books, so I'll probably be mailing them late this week. And our winner is... Don't Stop Me Now. Congratulations.
Don't stop me now.
Don't stop me now.
That should be like our when you come onto the Pirate Borg ship, when you come onto the ship of the dead, the Pirate Borg cruise.
Don't
that
stop me
music
now.
Starts playing.
The fix is in. Congratulations, Miranda. You are cooking with grease there. We are going to complete that giveaway. One quick announcement, Symphony. We do have a little something in store for you guys to celebrate Limithon, to celebrate Tyler, because we love Tyler so much. Luke is okay too. That's a whole ass Luke Stratton, but we really love Tyler. And
Look,
Cabin
Tyler's
Fever.
Tyler's the personality here. Let's get real.
Tyler's the homies. You're the homies too. We love you so much. Your friend Nate, which is one of the esteemed harbor masters of Limithron and Pirate Borg, is going to be live streaming Pirate Borg on the Symphony Thursday, May 23rd at 6 p.m. Eastern. Casting calls are currently open on Symphony, so if you would like to stream Pirate Borg, join our Discord and sign up for the cast. The only thing that I am asking is that you have headphones of some sort, a semi maybe quiet place to record, and that you come and cosplay. That's it. If you never streamed before, I don't care. If you've never played Pirate Borg before, I don't care. If you've always wondered what it's like to stream live, this is the game for you, baby, because one, Symphony cultivates super safe environments. Your friend Nate is a brilliant storyteller. He's super fluent with Pirate Borg. So come join us. Casting calls are going to actually wind up ending. I think I closed them, or I'm going to close them on Sunday, May 5th. So you got a handful of days to go to symphonyentertainment.com, drop down to our Discord, and then go and hop onto the casting channel. We don't need a whole lot from you. It's going to be 2 hours of Pirate Borg. It's going to be a lot of yes and a really, really, really good time. So your friend Nate is running that bad boy May 23rd from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern. That is your exclusive announcement here. So
I also want to mention that the Harbor Master program we talked about earlier also applies to live streams. If you're live streaming Pirate Borg, the GM qualifies for Harbor Master rewards.
Which is just
the idea is you're flying the flag, So Nate, make sure that you log that game with Tyler. Get you up there on the rewards program.
Like, hey.
Like, sorry, we want to give you free stuff. Sorry, guy. Yeah, take some stuff.
And this is just a total aside, Luke, that means nothing to no one other than me and just how beautiful I love Symphony. So I launched a casting call. It got mauled, of course. But the first third of the people that mauled it were all in the UK. And they were like, I'm in. God damn it, I'm not in. That's too late because they're like 5 to 8 hours ahead of us.
Yeah.
There were so many UK people that jumped in and said, I'm in. Oh, I'm not. I'm in. I'm out. That Nate hit me up and was like, so are we running a Pirate Board game specifically for them? And I said, yes.
Yeah. I mean, the cool thing about that is that you don't have, they don't have to use accents. They can just talk normal. And they'll sound like what we think pirates sound like, especially if they're from, not like from London,
Oh, God. It is beautiful. And this is a total side note, and then I'm going to actually end this damn stream. Luke, every single time I've played Pirate Borg, especially like in a live play, I don't even make an attempt to do a pirate accent. And for whatever reason, it gets funnier and funnier when I'm the only one doing pirate.
Yeah, you don't have to. I think that's great. For me, like the Cockney, like super orc, it's just it's part of my DNA,
Oh, no, and you're absolutely brilliant at it. I just love the contrast of like
Ashley's back on our menu, boys. We're snorting skeletons today. Rail them up, boys.
Oh, God. Oh, okay. I love it. Miranda, congratulations. Nate, thank you for running Pirate Borg. Luke, we appreciate you for coming on. That is going to conclude our symphony. So what I'm going to do right now is, Luke, hit us with all the where we can find you, what you're doing, how do we support you, what are the coolest things that come out on your Patreon. Roll us out, baby.
Okay, yeah. The jam is at itch.io/jam/cabin fever. Really, I'm just going to give you our what's it called? Link tree. That's the best place. Link, which is linktr.ee/Limithron. I'm at Limithron everywhere, pretty much. Yeah. But that'll get you to the Cabin Fever, to Pirate Board, to the Patreon, to the Ship of the Dead podcast, the Harbor Master program, all that stuff. The Discord is the spot. People who talk to me on Facebook or Reddit, I always just say, hey, can you move to Discord? Because that's kind of where we live.
Yeah.
Down Among the Dead is kickstarts on Talk Like a Pirate Day. We are doing like a kind of VIP pre-sign up pledge $1 program, which will be launching later in the year, which will get you like an extra reward on top. I don't know if that'll be a patch or what, but it's going to be pretty cool. And then, Dark Caribbean will hopefully kickstart sometime next year, maybe on Talk Like a Pirate Day, but I'm not going to stop working on it. It'll keep coming out on the Patreon. So the cool thing is the further and further we get along, the more stuff that will be there for people to just use. I last month I finished all 54 NPC portraits. So there are now 54 NPC portraits. I'm going to do the same thing for monsters and islands. So get ready. The content's coming.
Symphony, we love you. Tyler, you have been absolutely incredible with keeping the links current in the chat. I will go back and do a sweep and put those in the YouTube video. Luke, I love you. I adore you. I appreciate you. And you're just...
Hey, me lassie, me loving you too. Thanks for all you do for us. Scurvy pirates on the Ship of the Dead.
Thank you. Symphony, I think you deserve to watch this trailer one more time. So we are going to do the trailer and you guys are out of here. Have a wonderful night. Good luck. Mwah. Bye, guys.
you scabby sea dogs. I'm Luke Stratton, creator of Pieratt Borg, and I'm very, very excited to announce our first itch.io community content jam, Cabin Fever, brought to you by our new sublabel, Known Conspirators. This jam invites content creators like you to create content for the worst pirate setting ever made, the Dark Caribbean. You can submit your content in one of 5 categories: adventures and modules, PC class, NPCs, monsters, and ships, generators or random tables, or miscellaneous for everything else under the sea. Submissions are open for the entire month of May, and all submitters will receive an exclusive Known Conspirators antique pin and a Cabin Fever die-cut sticker. Then, a council of 7 fearsome pirate lords will debate for hours and choose the finest submissions. A total of 16 selected entries will be compiled into a print-on-demand hardcover book. In addition, those 16 winners will each receive a cash prize, plus a printed copy of the book. Everyone else, including the public, will be able to buy the book for cost at lulu.com, or get the PDF for free from our website. But wait, there's more. One grand prize winner will take home $1,000 in cold, hard cash. So clean out your gills and ready your quills, and leave her, Johnny, leave her. We can't wait to find the treasures from your mind when you get cabin fever.